Welcome back to WizNugs. So, Thanksgiving's coming up for those of us in the United States, and it's a time of year when we talk all the things we're thankful for. And, you know, there's a lot to be thankful for.
Right. I mean, health, family, work even.
Employment.
Yeah, I think that's a big one right now, right?
And I think it's worth jumping a little deeper into the concept of gratitude and how it can help us in our lives in a bigger sense than just, well, yeah, I'm thankful for that.
So what were you thinking?
Well, so I've been hearing a little bit more about what's called gratitude practice.
Okay.
So as a thing, there's kind of a lot of there's a lot of details of gratitude practice itself that I don't think we really have time to go into here and now.
Sure.
So we'll have some links. We'll have some links for you to click on to go if you wanted to take a deeper dive. But basically, it revolves around being grateful for other people and expressing that gratitude to them. Recognizing the times that people have expressed gratitude to us, and to really kind of connect with that in a real way. Our brains can be affected. According to some research that we've looked into, can be really affected even as powerfully as through, pharmaceutical intervention, antidepressants and things like that.
Right. So I think of it like the idea, have you ever heard the term when someone says you have to have positive thoughts, you got to think positively, right? Having this gratitude practice, right, is the times that you've felt appreciated and that you did something that someone says, thank you so much, I couldn't have done it without you, kind of a thing. Or that you felt that way towards somebody, and there's that great feeling that you feel inside when that comes, whether it's given or received. And then, also talking about the things that are great in your life, right? And we talked about the things at the very beginning. We talked about, family and work sometimes, or employment, having money in the bank, whatever that is.
I think one important part of this is that when you're looking for things to be grateful for in your life, you're more likely to see them. You're more likely to find them.
Right.
Because we have a tendency to find what we're looking for. So if you're a negative person and you complain about things, there is always something in life to complain about.
And you always end up finding examples of like, yep, see, I told you, see, right there. That's why I'm the way that I am.
Yeah. Also known as confirmation bias. If you're looking for reasons that something's going to fail, and then you find the slightest little thing, well, there you go. I was right all along.
Yeah.
I was confirmed. And there's another effect, the frequency illusion.
Okay, so what is that?
You might have seen this thing where you buy a white SUV, for example.
Okay.
And suddenly, all you notice on the roads are how many white SUVs there are.
They're everywhere.
They are everywhere. But you don't notice that before you buy one because it wasn't on your mind. It wasn't something you focused on. It wasn't something you thought about.
You weren't cognizant of it. A recent example is my son went out and bought himself some Australian healers, some dogs, and then he noticed, and he told me maybe like a day or two ago, he's like, I noticed that a lot of people now have Australian healers, and I said, well, you're noticing it now because you have them. But before, it really wasn't something that you were actually looking for. But now that you're a dog owner and you own these type of dogs, now when you're going out and you say, ooh, they have a dog, what kind is it? Oh, that's the same kind of dog as my dog.
Wait a minute, I recognize that.
Did everybody went out and buy the same dogs that I had? No, that was always the case. It's just now that you're noticing it. So it's that illusion that you're talking about.
Yeah, and so the frequency itself may not have changed at all. I mean, in the case of Australian healers, I do have to put in a plug for Bluey. I mean, I think if you haven't seen it before, check out Bluey. It's an Australian show about cartoon dogs and their interactions between parents and children.
I thought it was real dogs. I'm disappointed.
No, cartoon dogs. Sorry.
Oh, well. Good enough.
But it's a super cute show. My kids love it, and I think its popularity has gone up considerably. It's a relatively new show.
All right, we digress. We apologize.
At any rate, I think also being grateful and showing gratitude and thinking of things that you yourself are grateful for, and kind of soaking in that, marinating in gratitude can help us to be more positive in our lives.
Right. And I think if we talk about this, it's like if you're going back to the positivity mention, if you're constantly trying to focus on or making a habit out of being having gratitude towards the positive things in your life, that has a positive effect on you. And it's a lot of times it's subconscious, right? Maybe you're humming in your desk. Maybe you smile a lot at everybody who passes you by. Maybe you stand up straight. Maybe, you carry yourself in a different way, right? Versus when you focus on the negative stuff and you kind of slump and you're kind of just distraught and you have that.
It can beat you down.
Right?
Focusing on the negative can beat you down.
And sometimes it's really hard to not focus on the negative, right? There are times in our lives where the negative seems to be the overwhelming force and it's hard to focus on the positive.
And so that's where getting into a regular gratitude practice can be really, really helpful. Also, when you are feeling down, when you are feeling negative, one helpful way of kind of getting out of that is asking for help.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Reaching out to people around you can give them a chance to help you, to give service. And then you can express gratitude to them for that service. And then you look for opportunities to serve others as well, that can give you that opportunity for them to express gratitude back to you. These things all help.
Yeah. And so we didn't touch upon it, but when you are being in a positive mode as much as you can help it, you attract other people that tend to have that mentality, right? That are going to be super positive, that want to also be happy and satisfied in their life. That's what you end up surrounding yourself with. And then the adverse is also true, but usually you end up just chasing everybody else away. Again, that may not be your intention, but that ends up being the case. The positive attracts positive, and a negative, if it doesn't attract the negative, it will push away the positive. So there's the idea of building up your tribe.
Yeah, when you find your tribe, when you find your people that are going to support you, the people that are going to be that positive influence for you, and if those are people who are themselves positive and you yourself are working on being more positive, you can build each other up together. I've come across this idea that you become the 5 people that you spend the most time around.
And for that, I apologize.
Well, meaning that you take on some of their attributes. So when you're around people who just want to sit and complain,
yeah,
then you kind of start seeing, well, there is plenty to complain about in life. There's also plenty to celebrate and be happy about. So if you're going to be one of those positive people and lift up those around you, that can be great. Sometimes if you are in a group of negative people and you need to find yourself another group, that can be another thing that can have a hugely positive effect on your life.
Yep. And in the end, even though there's going to be some negative connotations given to it, like if the 4 friends or 5 friends that are all kind of negative and all have that same mentality, all of a sudden you're not hanging out as much anymore because you're trying to take care of yourself, right? Sure, there's going to be some negative feelings from the other group, but you're the one that's responsible for yourself, right?
And we can talk more about boundary setting another time.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things that can be really, really helpful in your life. If you do have negative people that you want to kind of put a little distance on, that you can express that in a healthy way and say, look, I'm trying to do better and I'm going to need to be around people that are going to help me to be better. So you can invite those people to be part of your journey.
Right.
Like we talked about in our episode on goals, that you need an accountability buddy. That's super helpful. Studies have shown, there's research on this that shows that having another person with you to help you be accountable for your goals will help you achieve your goals.
Yep. And a slight tangent on this is that we all as individuals have different levels of empathy and how well we receive the energy from others. Now, there's some people that could be around a bunch of negative people and not have any issue with it whatsoever. Like, they're the guys, that's how they are, we've always been that way, no problem. But you could be somebody who's totally susceptible to negative emotion and negative feeling and negative attitudes. And you may have started your day great, but then you went out and had, one with the friends, you went and did an event, and you come home and now you're in the worst mood possible. And that's not who you normally are, but you just may be more susceptible to it. So there needs to be a recognition on your end of how susceptible you are to those kind of feelings. And if you find that you tend to be a little bit more than maybe the average person, then yeah, do the things that you need to do in order to get yourself surrounded by people that's going to put you in the mindset of where you want to be.
And that might be a book club. It might be a class down at the gym. It might be just finding your squad, finding your group of people that's going to help you.
Yeah, it could be the anime club, right? Totally, right? It could be a D&D group. It could be anything, right? Anything that's going to get you into the situation where you want to be, right? It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. And again, there may be some sore feelings, for lack of a better word. But man, who's responsible for yourself? It is you. And if it's going to put you in the mindset where you need to be, where you feel that, man, I really do have a lot of great things going on in my life, and I want to continue forward with this way of thinking.
And to build on that, when you have a positive mindset,
yeah,
when you're in that positive frame of mind, you have an increased ability to problem solve. When you're in a negative frame of mind,
I agree.
You see all the things that are bad in your life. You see all the things that are awful around you, and you can feel dejected. You can feel like it's just not worth it, or things aren't going to change because look, things are terrible.
Yeah.
But if you're noticing all the good things that are out there and you're working on improving things because you're feeling positive, then you start to feel like maybe you have more capabilities to make changes in your own life or in the world around you, to do things, to make things better. And when you have that positive outlook, you start looking for solutions.
And maybe when you become this new beacon of positivity, that the people that were around you previously, or you end up having to, kind of shy away from, see you as big as that, and they come up to you and they say, hey, you're so positive and you're so happy, and I want to be like you. How do I do that? What are you doing? Right?
And you can tell them, I watch WizNugs.
Right. WizNugs. And who is the gentleman that we need to make a reference to in this particular episode?
I strongly advise seeking out Huberman Lab, a great channel. Andrew Huberman is prolific in his output of really deep, interesting scientific knowledge on all things neuroscience. He works out of Stanford. We'll put a link for his channel.
And the episode itself that we're going to link to, it's a little bit on the lengthy side. It's much longer than what we normally put out. But if you have the time and the desire, I highly recommend you watch the video in its entirety. It's very informative. I also would like to put on a link that's kind of a representation of a thing that he mentions in that video, is talking about finding a time in your life that you were you had gratitude towards somebody, or somebody showed you gratitude. And there's an excellent video that I found recently that I will try to link at the very end. Maybe incorporate it in the video. We'll see. I'm not sure. But at the very minimum, there'll be a link to it just to kind of give a physical representation, a visual representation you can see of what it means to be having gratitude, and then also the people around you having that same level of gratitude.
Just want to say thanks for joining us here at WizNugs. We're grateful for you. We're grateful for this opportunity that we have to express these things and hope that they're useful in your life. So leave a comment. What's something that you're grateful for right now?
And thank you for taking the time to allow us to pass on our little nuggets of wisdom. We hope you have a great holiday, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us today on WizNugs. If you liked what you heard, spread the word. For more information, head over to mywiznugs.com.